Getting late, mate. See you later.
How come he's left? Cookie, how come he's left? Paul?
He's just doing something gross. He's not doing press stuff.
Oh, it's SUTV in today, is it?
So, Chris will start.
Yeah.
Kids, Damien. If John wants to do the shout, and then we'll go on to the embargoed section after that.
Sorted.
Right. Good afternoon. Good to see you smiling after last night. What have you made of last night's performance and some of those players that you were giving a chance to for the first time this season?
Yeah, performance-wise, I was bored. I say all the time I never want to be bored when I watch us, and I was bored last night. In terms of the game itself, it was an important game for us. Because we had Jayden, his first minutes, having not done any pre-season. Obviously, Ollie Mack not done any pre-season, and Cam having trained but not played football. So it was really important game for us to get those boys some minutes. Obviously, Izzy's in the same position. He got an injury early on in pre-season, so again missed all football. That's the first bit for him. So from that point of view, it was a really important game for us. But it would have been nice to still be in the competition to give us those options again, going forward.
Has anybody given you a decision to make for this weekend's team selection after last night or not?
Yeah, there's lots of players in consideration, whether that's starting or from the bench, because we've been light on numbers through injury and obviously gradually signing players, but trying to get players up to speed at the same time as well. So, yeah, you can do all the work you want on the training pitch, but the players need the games. So, yeah, it was important for us to get those players the games and the action that they needed.
You've had to wait a while for Cameron Archer to get over the line. What did you make of his performance and his partnership with Ollie McBurney?
Yeah, performance-wise, we just wanted to get in the minutes. Whether it was 40 for Tom, between 45, 60 minutes, but we're never going to be any more just because, again, of the exposure he's had. He played minutes in the 21 tournament and then came back to Villa, and although he's trained every day and had little moments, he's not had that real planned sort of progression, if you like, in terms of minutes, 60 minutes and some 90 minutes behind him. So we needed him to get in the minutes, and that was the most important thing because it puts him in a better position now for the game Saturday morning.
So he's in contention for
definitely
for this weekend. You've made a signing as well, another one, Luke Thomas, who's come from Leicester. Tell us about him and how it's had to change what you were planning to do with your loan signings with the injury to Ben Osborne.
Yeah, it just means obviously with Reece still progressing with his injury, and then Lowy getting that. We were hoping Lowy could get on through his injury. Freak one stood on a sprinkler head in the pre-season game at Derby, so we knew he'd damaged his ankle ligaments. We were wanting to get through it and carry on, but it was apparent once he was really trying to play at that top level and play football matches rather than training, that it was hindering him, so he's had to have surgery on that. And then obviously Ozzy with that injury at the weekend, which we presumed was a significant one. We just getting to the bottom of which route we're going to go down with that. But it means he's going to be out for a decent length of time. So yeah, we needed another body there to come and play and give us that competition, not only cover but competition, and that to get back to being healthy in that left wing back position.
So is it changing your strategy, your transfer strategy at all ahead of tomorrow night?
Not really, because we can have as many spaces as we want, but we've only got a certain amount of finance, so not really.
And in terms of tomorrow, you've got until midday for anybody to be able to play on Saturday against Everton. How keen are you that anything is done before lunchtime tomorrow?
I'd love it if that was the case, and then I could go home after training, get my feet up and prepare for the Everton game. I'm hoping that's what our window looks like. Business is done early, and then can prepare like we would for a normal game. How
close are you to making any more signings then tomorrow?
Down the line with things, Close is a strange thing because you never know which little bit's going to hold things up. so we're down the line with things. That's probably the best way to approach it. There could be one thing left to sort, and it could take days, but we're down the line with things.
And when you hear about certain players moving, do you think, oh yes, that will trigger? And it's like a domino effect.
Not really. Not for us. Not for the players we've got tabs on now.
In terms of preparing for the game this weekend, which is the most important thing, how much of a disruption is it then, having the deadline tomorrow?
No, because for us it should make us stronger, so that's fine. And like I say, if we are putting things in place to get someone in before that 12 o'clock deadline that they can play, then we welcome that. Then after that, hopefully it's feet up and prepare for the game. And
do you change your training schedule at all tomorrow, and the possibility that somebody might come in at 10 o'clock in the morning and has got to meet the players and know how they're going to play?
No. That'd be too late. Yeah, that'd be too late. Probably the only thing we've got going from coming in this late is because of the cup game. A Wednesday night to an early morning kickoff. Well, an early kickoff on the Saturday. It means they're not missing much training. We've had obviously a lot of boys recovering today, not on the grass. So the bulk of the work will be tomorrow.
I'm sure Tom Davies would have been desperate, or would be desperate, to play against his former club. He didn't get a run out last night. Is he still short of any kind of?
Yeah, listen, he's in a position where he's going to need minutes, definitely, but we want to make sure that he's ready for those minutes. Like I say, you think when we come back from pre-season, you generally have a good couple of weeks training beforehand, and then you might have 45 minutes and build up that way. Tom's just about had that now. So we need to make sure his body's ready to cope with the demands, and that's the difference when you're signing players and the season's already started. There's no real hiding place for them. They need to be ready to go in and play competitive football straight away. So we'll be working hard with him, and if he's available for Saturday, great. If he's not, that's fine, and he's got another 2 weeks with us, working with us, ready for the Spurs game.
As far as the game is concerned against Everton, last week before Man City, you were saying, look, it's another game. It's 3 points. What have you taken from that performance, and how close you came to getting a point out of it, to now playing a team at the opposite extreme?
It'll be a totally different game. No less challenging for us. We know where we are, but we want to be able to. I think in all the games, as I keep saying about the Palace game, we totally changed what we wanted to do, how we wanted to play, because we had to, and we've still been compromised in the other games. So we're building towards what we want to be. So it's going to be no less challenging, just a different type of opposition. I've seen all of Everton's games, and I know Davies, you wouldn't have been happy with the Villa performance and obviously the result. And he wouldn't have been impressed with the other two results, but performance-wise, they should have won the games. So we know we're playing against a team who's, not won a league game yet, but that's not through want of trying, and they've certainly been imposing themselves on the game, and we know it's going to be a tough game.
With regards to supporters' expectations, can you understand them thinking that, well, if we get a win against Everton, that's a great way to kickstart the season, maybe even more so than a win or a point against Man City last week would have been?
Oh yeah, a win against anyone, a great way. I'd have loved to have won the first game. Like I said, for different reasons, we've ended up, like I said, being compromised and not being in the healthiest, strongest position we could have been at the start of the season. The window closes tomorrow, so we know what we've got, and then we're down to work. But I'd love to be picking up points in the meantime, without a doubt. So if we can manage to get 3 points against Everton, I'd be over the moon. I'd be delighted.
So 2 signings maybe tomorrow, 3 points on Saturday. That would constitute a good end to the month, would it?
It'd be a fantastic end to the month, yeah.
And great start to the new month. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Chris.
Thanks. Thank you.
One or two of injury issues were addressed there, of course. Is everybody else okay for selection for the Everton game?
Yeah, go on. Anyone in particular? Yeah.
Well, I suppose to a certain extent, then getting back into the swing of things, how serious would Osborne be? How serious is Lowe? How likely is it that Thomas is just available to play?
Oh, Luke's come in to play. He'll be involved at the weekend. Lowe and Ben are going to be. Yeah, they're going to be a while.
Anis was getting back into the swing of things. Clearly, he was amongst the subs last night.
Yeah, I wanted to, and the plan was to give him some minutes last night. Doesn't always go to plan. I think you could tell that the need for a game of football meant that we tried our best to plan things out for that game. You can see we'd made all our subs by 60 minutes, to run the risk of, if we'd have got an injury, if something would have happened, we didn't have that option. But it was important that some players weren't overstretched whilst getting the minutes that they needed. Like I say, but that's the position we're in. And fortunately, although we didn't get the result that we wanted, of course, but fortunately all those players are in a better place now than before they had the game.
And on that, then I suppose McBurney obviously played some football last night. In the incremental development or rehab process, is he up to sort of speed for 90 minutes now? Should he be required to be?
Listen, I think it'd be a stretch for him doing 90, but he's in contention to start. Yeah, we're not holding him back. So again, his week, he got minutes on Sunday. He's one of the boys who we looked after a little bit Monday, so he could train and play then. Then we've looked after him today along with the other boys. Yeah, so he'll be fine. He'll be training tomorrow and ready to go.
With regard to transfer window stuff, is it the case that you are A, still principally looking at loans, and B, are they more for the top end of the pitch still?
Yeah.
Right. And are we talking sort of centre forwards here, or different types of players to add to the mix?
Yeah, different types of players.
I know we've addressed the idea of sort of confidence and hope, all that type of thing. If you're going to get them done before lunchtime tomorrow, are you confident that will happen? Because if it's loans trickle down effect, would it need to be?
Yeah, we're not.
To wait till.
Yeah, no, we're not at that. Like I said, we're not waiting on anyone now. We're not waiting on clubs making decisions. We're sort of in a position now where, yeah, we're ready to go.
Right. So, forgive my ignorance. And is it just a case of getting the paperwork done on what you need, or decisions?
No, there's still some decisions, green lights. Yeah. We're in terms of players, we know what it'll take. We know what we'd have to do. Getting the green light and then getting it done is where we're at now. Yeah.
Right. On the other side of things, obviously there are players on the outer reaches of the squad, and look, maybe some of the young lads, of course, that have filled in well in recent weeks. Is there any chance that some of those might be heading out on loan?
They may. But two things I'm conscious, we can't leave ourselves short in terms of a squad, and what we have beneath is different to what some of the other clubs have beneath. The Cat 1 clubs carry a lot more players and they're a lot older beneath their first team squad, things like that. So two things, we can't leave ourselves short there, and we need bodies for training as well. We need to make sure we've got the right quality when we need it so that we can prepare for games. So yeah, there may be some. There may be.
Just to come back to Thomas, of the left-sided players you could have gone for, why him? What are his qualities that made him stand out for you?
Well, two things: his availability and willingness and desire to come and play for us. So once we were looking at that situation and wanted to get something done, it happened really quickly because everybody wanted it to happen, which is sometimes a surprise, but it did. So the willingness and the desire for Luke to come and play for us was a big thing. In terms of him as a player, he obviously knows the league, played in the league. He's got good quality with his left foot. He's sharp. Yeah, and he'll add a different type of quality to that position. Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, he's another young player who's hungry, and like I said, he's bringing quality with him. There's areas we want to work at him with, definitely. Obviously, he's got to settle and understand what we want from him, but still, as a footballer, for me, there's things that I can see in him which I'd love to work on and help him improve at. Yeah, so it was an easy one to get done.
Everton, of course, the next challenge. In these circumstances, with the points tallies as they are, who's kind of under more pressure to get the victory? Because Everton's problems, I suppose, are well documented, whereas Sheffield United are just hoping to get going.
Yeah, I honestly don't see it that way. Just we want to win. Whoever it was, we were going to try and win the game. What's happening in other clubs is irrelevant. I think Everton's status as a club and the fact that they're the story at the minute, I think it overshadows, like I said, particularly those two games I've seen where they should have won the games and it would have been a totally different story. So our job's a little bit different. It's not about a story. It's not about a narrative. It's about what's in front of you. How do you win it? And for us, looking at Everton and what we see, we know it's going to be a tough game. But it's one that we want to win, and we're going to approach to try and win.
And give us an idea as to how Sean, because we got to know week in, week out, almost forensically, how Sean Dyche's Burnley played. So Sean Dyche's Everton, how do they go about their way?
Yeah, lots of similarities, and the demands that he puts on the players. It's going to be interesting now with the new signings, but certainly one I think will play. And with one or two injuries, how that shifted the dynamic of the squad. My opinion, what we've seen of him and the way I think he'd go, I quite like. I don't think it's weakened him. You know, I think there'll be still have threats in those forward areas, maybe more so than what they've had in recent weeks. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. We know they're going to be a challenge. We know the work rate's going to be first class. We know how organised they're going to be and how they're going to set up. I think the little bit of unknown is, like I say, through the new players.
Yeah, and I am making light of a situation. No doubt they wouldn't want the problems, but it's not a bad problem when you've got those issues and you spend £30 million on a new centre forward. Different world.
It is a different world, but it's one we're not in. So, it doesn't. I'm not going to get drawn into any of them stories. You see, we know what our position is compared to others, and we're not in that place because we're not an established Premier League club like they have been. You know, they're one of the only few to always be in the Premier League, so they have got the resources. I think. So why would we worry about that? They've been shopping in a different market to us. It's no problem. Good luck to them. But like I say, it doesn't change our expectation and what our aim is and our goal is, which is to try and win as many games as possible. And they're the next team. So regardless what they've spent, regardless what situation they find themselves in, we're just looking at them as a team and how they set up, how they play, what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, and how do we try and combat that and get the 3 points.
And just finally then, in each sort of match day that Sheffield United have had, there's been improvements in different ways, I suppose, and each game has provided different challenges. For this one then, what do you want to see improve from the team you put out?
What, from the previous games?
Yeah.
I just want to win. I want to win. I'm not going to sit and talk about it. You know, I won't. There'll be bits that I do want to share sometimes in terms of what we've been working on, what we want to do. Well, I won't. So what do I want to see? I want us to win. Challenges to certain players and units and how we want to improve. Definitely get close to where I want to play. And then for me, the biggest thing is what do we close the window with? And then that'll determine, right, this is what we've got. This is how we're going to play to try and get the wins. And this is our little change that we do in game to try and get the wins. But until we know what we're left with, I couldn't even sit here now and tell you. You know, we'll know what we're trying to recruit. In my head, okay, if this is the best we can get out of, this is what we're going to look like. Right, this is what we'll do. But as it stands at the minute, we're not there yet.
Don't know. Thank you. Ta.
If you do get the players in that you're hoping to, will you be happy with your squad going through to January?
Yeah, I'm happy with it now. I'm happy with the players. We've signed some good players, good characters, which is good, but we need more help. We want to strengthen to give ourselves the best chance. That's it. Top end of the pitch, what's going to help us score goals, what's going to help us be a threat. Bearing in mind, we're nowhere near the full potential of the boys we've got at the minute from who we've signed, where we've signed them from. But yeah, we need more, we want more. But we're happy with what we've done so far.
Embargoed stuff.